Good morning to everyone to this seminar, to this Gastronomy Shapers seminar. As you know, most of you, this academic year we started this new initiative. We call it Gastronomy Shapers because we wanted to invite professionals from different sectors in gastronomy that are like transforming the sector, creating new paths, innovating, starting new projects, new concepts. And we have done this in different sectors and different professions. So of course we have had different chefs or sommelier or managers, but today we have a great opportunity to be inspired and to learn from JANICE WONG, because we are going to talk about pastry, sweet cuisine. I mean, JANICE is a reference, I would say, in many perspectives. I remember visiting her in Singapore many years ago in her pastry restaurant. But after that, she's been here at BCC several times, and also the creativity she has and the innovation and new projects that she has been developing, connecting creativity, new concepts in the pastry world. I think you are a reference, Janice, and it is a pleasure to have you here. I mean, I know that we are facing, all of us, very complicated moments all over the world. So thank you so much for joining, for being connected with Basque Culinary Center, and for giving to our students the opportunity of being inspired, having and listening new ideas and new projects. And for sure, we hope to welcome you again at BCC and to go for some pinchos. But for the moment, it is great to be connected and to have you here. And Cristina Lirola, I'm professor of the master program and professor on pastry at the BCC. Please, if you want to say some words about Janice and go on with the seminar, please.
Sure, thank you, Jose Mari. Actually, it's a pleasure on counting with a multi-award winning pastry chef. And she's owner of 2 restaurants in Singapore, dessert bar in Tokyo, and retail and dining experience in Macau, and so many other, amount all over the world. Janice, runs like edible art exhibitions, which are super delicious and beautiful, like in public events and private as well. So thank you, Janice, for sharing your precious time with us this morning in San Sebastian in the Basque Culinary Center, and to give your vision on current and future reality of the sector. So I will just let you, introduce yourself and tell us about your career, and just thank you for being with us today.
Great. Well, hi, everyone. Thank you very much for being part of this and inviting me to be part of this as well. It's really inspiring also to have worked with Basque Culinary Center for the last few years. I remember visiting your school maybe about 3 to 4 years ago, and it was really a good time because, all the best culinary minds were there, especially I remember when Heston Blumenthal was also there when he visited. That was pretty an amazing Brainy Tongue event that we had. But yes, I mean, it's been a long journey here, but we're always rethinking about what we do, and also to really focus on our core, which is confectionaries. So I'll give a quick introduction about the brand. And so I started off as a JANICE WONG Singapore brand. This is it was birthed in Singapore, and I had 2 a.m. dessert bar in 2007. And JANICE WONG Singapore, this brand was started in 2014. So we focus on all things sweet, and we love to focus on food and art, but using chocolate as a medium, using candy as a medium as well. The expression of pure imagination is always there. So I'm just going to show you some slides of kind of what we do here in Singapore. These are some chocolates from Singapore, and they are flavored with our signature flavors. So I take inspiration from most of my travels everywhere I go. And this was part of it was when I visited Mexico, and they had like chocolate bonbons with mezcal and grasshopper. And I said to myself, you know, in Singapore, there was never chocolates that were Singapore signatures. So like our flavors of laksa and kaffir lime, pandan, gula melaka. So this was started in 2014 to start doing a lot of signature flavors of where our culture and heritage is. The things that I do is usually a lot of fun things in a small little box. So these are our chocolate bonbons. We like to express a lot with different colors and shapes. So it's quite distinctive of our brand and our shapes and colors. But you know, it's always about taste and flavor as well, not just also the look and feel of it. Um, and during the pandemic, what we did was to change everything to natural coloring. One of the most important things that I learned was really to adapt very quickly to the environment, to the culture, to people's taste and current trends as well. So right now, you know, people are getting a little bit more health conscious. So we quickly switched that. This photo means a lot to me. It's actually one of our confectionaries, the chocolate crayons. I love to play a lot, and I felt, you know, why can't we draw with chocolate, right? And no one has really done that in this level. So that's why we started, okay, why don't we try to see whether we can start to paint and draw easily with chocolate. So we started this. This is chocolate crayons. They come in different flavors, different colors, and when you draw it, it actually works quite perfectly. I mean, you can see the box set and the paintings behind, the doodle behind, so you can really kind of just draw, and we put them on edible paper. So it's fun because you can draw and you can also taste the art as well. So this really invokes a lot of fun memories for kids, which is what we want to do. We want to do something different where it's just not only chocolate bonbons. We want to really instill, you know, kids and adults to use your imagination when you taste and when you kind of enjoy confectionaries. So we provide these kits, you know, with crayons as well as your you have this rubber silicone so you don't dirty your hands, and also canvases and rice paper. Just to give you a brief of some of our retail, so this is one of our retail shops. This is how it looks like. It's usually quite fun, and it's very colorful. This was during Christmas time, so we had lots and lots of Christmas products. Then this is kind of like our pop-ups in Japan. So we do have different pop-ups. Last year we had 6. This year we had about 10 locations, and we sold a lot of our chocolate bonbons. So currently right now, because of COVID, we're only in Singapore and Japan at this moment. The other cities need to close, and also we exited from those cities at this moment. But we look forward to definitely start again when the pandemic is over. Then we also started our online shop. It was started about 4 or 5 years ago, but you know, now habits are really changing and people are just buying a lot of things online. And so if you're keen to check it out, this is our online shop. Then we do a lot of different types of confectionaries as well, based on the different festives. You can see that the JANICE WONG brand, our team is very diversified. We love to play a lot. There's always different textures. There's always different fillings and collaborations between many different chefs as well. These are some of our classic cakes that we do. Just to show you a little bit of you know, the pastry side that we do. And the fun part that I like to talk about is always the edible art. Kind of what I do most is in the last 6 years is huge wall paintings. So I've kind of stopped for 1.5 years because, due to the pandemic, we can't share food. You can't really instill art on the wall. And then of course, I do something different now, which is also fine. It still really allows you to interact with food as well, just in a different way. So this is a marshmallow ceiling, and basically put about 4 meters long of marshmallows on the ceiling. So this picture really speaks a lot about our creativity, our imagination, how we always like to really push the imagination to something different, because the experience is different. We don't want to just feed you marshmallows in a container. Instead, we want to create that art experience for you where you can enjoy it, and you can also kind of destroy the art in a way. And it's just really pure confectionaries, actually. So I work a lot with confectionaries and also chocolate. These are huge wall art paintings. They were in the National Gallery of Singapore. It was for the World 50 Best event. So we did 6 walls, front and back. And so this is all painted in chocolate. There's lots of chocolate bonbons, and we were able and given the opportunity to showcase this to the world stage. When we had all the guest chefs and media in Singapore for the World 50 Best event. I wanted to show them that the dessert buffet doesn't need to be so boring. So everything sweet is kind of on the wall, and there are videos on YouTube, so you can just Google Janice Wong World 50 Best, and I think it will show up. And so painted the chocolate on the wall, and then it's layered with a laser cut rice paper with chocolate as well. So this really speaks a lot about our philosophy, about the 5 tastes and 5 senses, where you go up to the wall and you can feel the chocolate. You can taste the buffet, the sweet buffet off the wall. You can take photos with it. It acts as a backdrop, and you have a lot of fun with people. So this is something that we hope to continue to do if when the pandemic is over. But this is yeah, it holds very dear to me, because we also kind of started this event of eating the art. Oh, and then this is a sugar coral installation as well. So this is one of the many different types of installations that we do, where you can really see and taste and feel again the 5 senses. But it's always different, because instead of doing inedible installations, what we are known for is doing edible ones. The only downside about this is you can't really keep it, but there is always a way to preserve the installations. So again, this is kind of like a buffet where you see a lot of chocolates, marshmallows, even macaroons as well. And we can even do cakes on this type of buffet setup. So we also create experience. So beyond just the chocolate box, it's a lot about imagination. This one is all about sugar and going into a sweet candy land where everything is edible. We painted with edible UV paint, and you can basically kind of enjoy the experience and also still taste the chocolate, but it's different. You can see in this photo, people are taking photos. It's really unique because, again, it's always about pushing the boundary. So this one we did, I believe, about 4 to 5 years ago. We did this installation, and recently it was the UV painted bonbons. It was done in Spain, in Ibiza with Sublimotion, with Paco Roncero, and we did the last course of the dessert, and we did this UV painted bonbons with the flowers and the dessert. So it was truly a very fun event. It's always about curating different experiences, and this has always been about the element of surprise to people as well. You don't really imagine that you can actually taste these type of food, but it's a lot about art with food together. So pushing the boundary to the highest level of food art. So again, different types of installations that we do. This is really fun. Again, with one color. So you can see everything previously was super colorful. We bring you through an emotion of space, of food art, that you feel like you're in the winter time, you know. And actually, when you see the mushrooms on the stool, they are actually painted in chocolate, and they are actually chocolate bonbons that are on the that look like mushrooms. And then you have your eclairs that are hanging. So you pluck off the eclair from the top, and you basically drink off the wall as well. So it's lots and lots of fun. When you enter a space like this, you expect to be greeted with, you know, something different all the time. And and then I have, yeah, this is what people will go through to drink off the wall. So we have different flavors, and everything pairs really well with the whiskey. You can see people having lots and lots of fun. Um, the people on the left are actually also from Team Lab. They do a lot of digital stuff, and it's been really nice to see even artists enjoying themselves. So that's also another type of art that we did, with lots and lots of flowers. So you can see, like, pushing the boundary is always a very key term for us, where it's always a sweet and wonderful world of you know, confectionaries, something very different. And we hope that you know, one day in Spain you'll be able to enjoy this wall art. So we've taken the same type of inspiration throughout the cities, different countries. Sometimes it's always different, but mainly the element of surprise is always there. This is a lollipop ceiling that we did. Um, we did a crayon turntable where people can enjoy coloring and painting. This is based in Korea. Currently, right now, because of the pandemic, our space in Korea is shut at the moment. Um, so yes, that's the downside of the pandemic for us. These are just some of the chocolate lollipops. You know, it's always fun when you can pluck it off a ceiling. I don't know if you've ever done it before, but it's absolutely different when you're pulling it off above your head, and then when you're eating it in front of you. Having a lollipop in front of you, and for you to kind of tiptoe and pluck it, the emotion is always different. So we drive these type of emotions to the food experience, because we want you to be curious. We want you to kind of make a little, you know, energy leap of, you know, just kind of step up a little bit to pluck off your marshmallow, or kind of watch the art first from a distance, and then kind of drawn towards the art. This is above you. So, you know, it creates this effect where you don't really know where you are. It's kind of like, can you eat it? Can you not eat it? So it gives you this type of emotion where you're unsure. And I think it always creates a talking point when you can finally eat it, and then you tell your friends, and you're like, "Oh my goodness, I cannot believe that we can pluck this off the wall." So this is above the ceiling. Yeah. And then, so for the first time in 2 years ago, we created inedible installations based on our chocolate paint. This is an installation based in Korea. It's actually colorful chocolate paint off. This is kind of how we do our art. We're always pouring things onto a canvas, and so it creates this space where the kids can use that and spin around. They can step on the different types of colors. So yes, so this is one of the first installations that I've done that's actually inedible and a very big scale. So we created a huge giant chocolate bar that's inedible as well, that you can actually take photos with. So you can see it's a huge lot of fun when you can actually you know, create your small little chocolate bar into really, really big installations. I hope one day we will start to create even more of these massive chocolate installations around the world. Then the 2 a.m. dessert bar was started in 2007. This is our first dessert concept. And you can see how we've evolved from dessert to also confectionaries. and it's still around today, and it's been good. We focus a lot on the ingredients and different types of experience, also the types of textures and the storytelling as well. And we can actually collaborate with lots of mixologists as well. So this is some of our desserts that we do. Um, to me, it's art on a plate. It's very different from the food art, but I just wanted to share with you a vast number of disciplinary things that we do, from from food art on a plate called desserts, plated desserts, and confectionaries and boxes, gift boxes, hampers, and cakes as well, and then all the way to installations. This is also another dessert from our book, a few more of the dessert textures. So I worked a lot with water. So this is something that I would like to focus this year, actually working a lot of our desserts with water instead of heavy cream or sugar. And we started that actually about 10 years ago. We started working a lot with water, and then I got really busy and with other things. And so, but now we'd like to focus a lot back onto desserts and water. Oh, I don't know what happened there, but this is a very interesting. I mean, so we did bake at home with Janice Wong. This is a concept that I did with premixes. So you can see that it's premix packets, and this was started during COVID, where Singapore went through a 2-month lockdown. So this is a completely new brand called Bake at Home with Janice Wong. And we're trying to bring, of course, the Janice Wong experience to your doorstep. So we take these premixes and then we create this experience for you where you can make really nice madeleines. You can make really easy step-by-step recipes, chocolate cake. So we have a bake at home YouTube website as well. So you can go to YouTube, you can see the videos of our premixes and the cake decorations, but you can also go to our online website to check this out as well. So it was really truly during the pandemic that we had to think, okay, people cannot go out. How can we bring our experience to you? So we also did edible art kits. People can actually paint at home with us. They can draw with crayons and everything. So that was really interesting. 2 a.m. Dessert Bar also started doing takeaway desserts in your home. So we teach you how to plate the desserts. That was something very new for us. We never had a chance to take away our desserts, but this is, of course, it was very useful to now have an idea on takeaway desserts as well for us, for the plated desserts. And yeah, so that's the end of my presentation. I hope you enjoyed our presentation, but you can find a lot of our information online and our videos as well. And I definitely look forward to see you soon in Spain one day. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Janice, for your lovely presentation. I think it's lots of information to our students. So they were, super keen on knowing few things about you as well, about your career and about your restaurant business and how did you start. So if I may, I would just kind of start with a few questions about your, how you became or how you changed from being an economist to a pastry chef, for instance.
Yeah, for sure. I think, I mean, I really followed my passion to really do this as a career, to focus on the sweet confectionaries, the sweet art, and but I knew it was just beyond chocolates and cakes. I mean, it couldn't just be chocolates and cakes. That would have been a little bit too, I would say, too easy, right? And too yeah, it's a bit different. So I wanted to really incorporate the art element to it, and I thought, food always had to do with the five senses. That was very important for me to focus on the five senses. Yeah.
Mhm. And so like as well, they are actually, like interesting on how, like, if you find it hard, just kind of to be part of a male dominated industry as well. Because, being a pastry female chef and, in early days, how difficult was for you.
Yeah, for sure. I think it was very difficult in the beginning because of the cities that I would intern in. So I would intern in the US,
Mhm.
Spain as well was one of them. So it was a lot of male chefs in all these countries and cities. But of course, it did not deter you. I mean, when you have strong determination, it was actually it didn't matter. It didn't matter at all because everyone's equal, right? So you definitely just needed to focus on what you want to do. Yeah.
Well, um, and just like because you have won lots of recognitions through the years, like this has like affected you in any way of like taking pastry as itself, or as a is it passion, or
Well,
more like a
definitely.
business?
Yeah, it's both now.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's a passion project, but of course, you do need to make it sustainable. You need to think how to make it also like a business, how to always constantly change and adjust and adapt to the environment. But we're very blessed that I mean, we have a lot of friends from all over the world that also are very supportive. And we do lots of collaborations together. So we learn a lot from one another. And then I think it's very important to have that community of people, not just in your community, but around the world. Yeah.
Yeah, and gastronomy in general as well.
Yes. Yes.
I have seen you have a few books as well. Like part they are like sweets, but they are part savory as well.
Yes.
Which I was kind of interested on that as well. Because you have already like 4 books published. If I'm not wrong, like 4 books about. So yeah, you have like a combination of sweet and savory cuisine is very important as well,
Yeah.
just to help. And as you have mentioned, you get most of your inspiration by traveling. But like, what actually is what does your inspiration come from, or what is your creative process?
Yeah. It's really about culture for me
Mm-hmm.
because, for example, when you visit a city or different country, there's lots and lots of flavor, color, texture that you see, and you get inspired immediately when you go into a different city that has lots of different types of texture that you're not used to, whether it could be even concrete, whether it could be natural, um, or in the forest, and the smells and the taste. It could be spicy, it could be like non-spicy. So it's super inspiring. I think for me, one of the best moments was of course in Peru. That was truly the best because there was just so many ingredients that nobody knew of, and they're still discovering. And truly it was mind-blowing because you're always you think maybe quite a lot, but actually you don't, because there's just so much to learn.
We do a lot of exercises here in the university with our students about like aromas and how to develop this type of like flavors, and like kind of discovering new flavors, even you are just kind of in the same location. But would you recommend that, like would you like recommend traveling and tasting as much as you can, so you can expand that that story, like historically in your like palette?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think it's really important to keep tasting as you're wherever you're going, and then to remember it. So when you
Exactly.
want to create it again next time, you remember. For example, if I want to make a mole with a feijoa, maybe it can work. You just have to remember these tastes. Feijoa and mole are definitely not in my country, but if you want to create something unique, maybe chili and honey and chocolate or something, you have many types of flavor profiles, and this can always work when you are very conscious of flavor. Yep.
And talking about like chocolate crayons, I have a question here, like how do like do you like, or based on like, you know, childhood memories in a dish in a way? Because you have chocolate crayons, which are like, you know, in hand of like creating and eating at the same time, but how would you actually recreate your childhood memory in a dish?
Yeah, yeah. I definitely did not paint with chocolate or draw with chocolate. So that actually inspired me because I didn't have a chance to do that, right? So it's kind of like how can we proceed to like create these type of memories for people now in this generation and the next generation? How can we create that in a very I would say in a manner that can travel, because if it has to be fresh, then it's very difficult. So we have to make it stable, confectionery, packaged, that you can just buy off the shelf and you can create the experience for yourself. So it's different from a dessert bar because it's fresh and you're being served every day. So for the chocolate crayons is an experience where you can just buy it off the shelf and gift
Mm-hmm.
it to somebody. And when somebody receives this present, they create their own art. They use their own imagination and they start to do that. And when you do that while you're using your imagination, you really start to create memories for yourself. Yeah. So
Exactly,
I
not
mean,
just
if I really had chocolate crayons in as a kid, I would be really maybe a different kid right now, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I think it's not even for like just kids, just like for adults, you know, just kind of to be fun and playful and, you know, just share that experience as well, which I
That's
think
correct.
is
Yeah.
super thoughtful. Yes.
Yeah.
And I have another question as a, you know, creative progress. In a world that is constantly changing, how do you keep updated with all the trends and changes happening in pastry industry?
Well, I think it's really difficult at this moment,
Mm-hmm.
because it's really about the pandemic that's in the focus right now, and the trends of people reading up a lot. You're very knowledgeable right now. Information travels like in seconds, right? And so people are more knowledgeable about ingredients, what is inside their prepackaged foods, also the confectionaries, even chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
They're more aware. So we have to be definitely very responsible to our communities, um, where we really have to source responsibly and make sure that not just, I mean, ingredients that have high quality, which is always our goal, in the past. It's always about high quality ingredients. But now it's really more about, ingredients that matter to people.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely trying to find alternatives to some of these ingredients that don't really matter so much to people. So kind of like sugar. Sugar doesn't really matter so much to people anymore because people want less of it. And so then we have to find alternates for that.
And like in, you know, in a world that has is changing in terms of, you know, healthiness and so on, how would you actually substitute this sugar, or how, you know, how would you make a bit more healthier?
Yeah, we are sourcing definitely more different types of sugars to
Hmm.
replace with our current sugar. But the problem with that is the cost is still very high. So it's like the plastic problem of the world as well, where because it's so cheap, right? It's more difficult to use recycled plastic. But it's all about being responsible. And I
Hmm.
think when we are responsible, it's definitely a bright future for all of us.
Super right. And talking about like restaurant business, was it like, you know, that was when you opened your first restaurant was 2007, right?
Mhm.
It was
Yeah.
like it was very hard, like, or like the concept of it was very hard kind of to for understanding the customers.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely different because in Singapore it wasn't there were not many restaurants, and 14 years ago the scene was yeah, there was not much late night options. So when we first introduced this, we had to educate a lot. You know, what is a plated dessert? Why is it so small, right? People always go like, you know, why is the dessert so tiny, right? And I think it's about the experience. So it's about enjoying the experience, the five sense and the five tastes. And it's very important that the experience is carried throughout based on your philosophy. What is your story? You know, and we want to share that with people. So yeah.
Well, and so is there any challenge of like, of maintaining this client surprise and constant innovation, just kind of to offer them
Yes.
a unique experience every time they go to your restaurants?
Yes, it's big. I mean, it's very, very important and very difficult. They are very fickle. Now they can just comment whatever they want, you know, and if they don't like it, they comment. They like it, they comment. So it's difficult to please everybody, and I think expectations are higher as well. Whereas for us, we're always about creating new things. So we're moving forward. We're creating new experience all the time. It's easy to always have the same menu for 1 year and not change the menu at all. And definitely you can perfect the menu. You know, all the recipes will be correct and it will be right. But for us, it's always about something different. So I always, you know, I hope that our customers can always eat with an open mind to really refresh themselves with, you know, new ideas and new experience all the time. Like I said, it's always it's a bit too easy to have it yeah,
Yeah, at least just
to
kind of
have it
to
like that.
challenge yourselves as well and your team, and just being creative and motivated, no, in a way as well.
That's correct. That's correct.
And so as you were saying about like being sustainable and like kind of working on different products, like you have mentioned, like you've been working like for over 10 years, like with water based on your recipes, and now you're introducing natural colors as well, natural coloring. So that's actually, that's as affected, or just kind of for COVID, like in COVID-19 has affected in, or just kind of even, push it just kind of to work more with these kind of products.
Yeah,
So
for
just
sure.
been adapting.
Yeah, because also I don't travel so much anymore, or not at all. So we have
Not
a
anybody.
not anymore. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we have time to really think what is important. And I've always enjoyed the water and desserts, and I think that's actually really important to focus on that. And we never got a chance to really focus on that. So that's one. And it's always also very good because it's healthy, you know, and it's you still maintain great taste. You just really work through different textures with it. So water mousses, water gels, yeah, it's just water-based gels. Lots of high, you know, acidity with high vitamins, and you can even have something with protein in there, right? High protein desserts. So yeah, that's always been of interest to me, and it's necessary to take that step forward and say, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Yeah.
And so like how, like could you tell us like how do you motivate your staff, or do you have a like a team just dedicated on like development and innovation, or how do you actually like organize like in different teams?
Yeah, it's different because I've realized that if you just dedicate a team to it, you know, it's somehow always very disconnected. I always like to hear the voices of everybody. So we try to keep it a very integrated system where everybody has, you know, if they want to say something, if they think, you know, something excites them, they can always say it, you know, or try it. And in that manner, you have the voice of everybody, and I think it's very important to work that way. Yeah, but
Okay.
yeah, I mean, going back on that, COVID has definitely affected everybody, and for us to think a little bit different about even how the way we work with one another.
Exactly. And now you have introduced kind of another retail, so is the online shop. um, and like just kind of people could learn from home, which I think is this is a super like a good idea as well, and have this kind of business kind of start running like kind of by itself already, or it just kind of costs a little bit of a time to settle.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, it's definitely running. It's been really good when the lockdown happened
Mhm.
and everybody couldn't go out, so they started baking a lot more at home. And but then again, then Singapore opened up and everybody is out now, so
Mhm.
nobody is really cooking at home. But the new brand is exciting. It's different. I would definitely still keep it. And if we ever go back into baking more at home, then this will be very relevant. But at this moment now, it's at least we have both. You can take away the JANICE WONG experience, but you can also bring it back home, and you can cook with us at home.
Exactly. And apart from that, you have like have you found any difficulties or like selling like kind of online products, or because you've been having like kind of 4 years of like a online shop with your confectionery and bonbons.
Yeah.
So like how that costs you like any more extra like work.
Yes, yes, a lot more work if you think about it. If I go to a over the counter and I buy a box of chocolate, I just pick it up and I take it and I pay and I go
Hmm.
home. But if you buy it online, you have the address, you need to organize the shipping, and you need to make sure that the customers are at home to receive the chocolates.
Hmm.
So we have to do a lot more work just to make sure that the logistics is smooth. But it's true, it's very, very difficult in the future, especially when everybody's purchasing online. It's
Yeah.
fantastic for the experience because you don't have to go out to get it.
Hmm.
But for people like us, it's so much more work. Yeah.
Exactly. How would you actually, recommend us as a pastry chefs? How could we actually run or start like a online pastry shop? Because it's so delicate and it's so fragile. So how,
Yep.
I like, would you ship like all over the world, or do you have, kind of locations just in like, or you have a main kitchen so can that
Yeah.
they see?
Yeah, we only have the so we have the kitchen and we have yeah, so but we don't ship all over the world. It's just only in Singapore at this moment. And
Mm-hmm.
in Japan, if you have the pop-ups, if you have seen during Valentine's Day with the pop-ups, so that's where we're at. You can purchase them only at
Mm-hmm.
Valentine's Day and online shops.
Okay.
But having said that, it's a very, very delicate product.
Mm.
So it doesn't travel very well still. And it requires a lot of logistics to make sure that it's cold,
Pressure
and
wise.
yeah, and in Singapore it's always hot, I mean, wherever we are. So it's definitely has its challenges, and you want to maintain the high quality of the chocolates. Yeah.
Okay. And talking about like exhibitions and art, you are not specialized on that. So when did you realize actually that pastry could become more than a dessert and start like making edible art? Like when did you just
Yeah.
decided?
I think when as an artist as well, I really love to push the boundary, right? And I always thought to myself, why are there such beautiful sculptures? There's a few pastry chefs that do beautiful sculptures,
Mm-hmm.
but you cannot really destroy and eat them, right? And it's one taste and one flavor. So it's either all dark chocolate or white chocolate. So I always thought, okay, but then what's the point when you make such a beautiful piece of art and then you cannot eat it or let anybody enjoy it? Same for paintings as well. I see this beautiful painting, but it's painted with oil or acrylic and I can't taste it.
Mm-hmm.
So what if you introduce taste in art canvases? And then it becomes different. I mean, it's then the five senses, right? And so that's when I really start to think, okay, can I do this? How can I incorporate, the artistry into these huge installations? So they're very carefully curated based on where we're at around the world, and I will continue to do these art installations around the world as well. Yeah.
Mhm. And so you have mentioned about the 5 days and five senses. I think this is super interesting actually. If you could just kind of develop a bit more, or so how did you actually come to this methodology or like philosophy? Because I think like you just kind of defended super well. So could you just kind of talk me through a little?
Yeah, I think the first step was there was not anyone to teach you on this. There's no school, no topic on this. But as an artist, you're always thinking, yeah, it's always about the senses. So as an artist, you go like, okay, you need to feel, you need to taste and then see it, right?
To see
So
it.
that's yeah. So as that part of me, I felt that was very important. But and of course, I also have the pastry and the chef part of me where I like to make things on a plate. So the magic happened when I decided to put both together, the big art and also the things that are small on the plate and the chocolate boxes. Yeah, and then it just gave birth. I mean, the thing was that the first event we did, people were so excited, and then they wanted more. So they kept wanting more and more, and it became like this addiction for like more of these type of events, and that's how it started. Yeah.
So, congratulations for that, because I think by the pictures, actually, I could really feel it as well. So probably all the students can as well.
Mhm.
And so, by seeing all these 4 meter long marshmallow, like hanging on the wall, like on the ceiling, and lollipops, and wall art, so how actually like how it seems so difficult just kind of to preserve the temperature and the product, like in just intact or perfect, like for the whole exhibition. How do you actually measure that?
It is very difficult, but it's not very very that difficult. The difficult part is because you're in different countries, you need to adjust.
Mhm.
Whether it sometimes it's too hot, it just melts off the wall. So then that is definitely a no-no for outdoor activities. But and we've had some of these experience where it's very humid and it's very sticky. Yeah, but most of the times it's indoor, is an air conditioned space,
Okay.
so it's very comfortable for us. I've done it in many hotel lobbies, many hotel weddings. We did also in many museums, and we recently did a movie with Otto Lengi and Dominic Ansel.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a nice movie that we did on art, food and art. It's called The Cakes of Versailles with Otto Lengi. So that was
Okay.
interesting as well. I mean, it's really all about taking it to another level altogether.
Yeah. And do you have any anecdote like on these exhibitions of art, like you would like to share?
Yeah, for us, it's I hope the pandemic would hopefully be resolved and everybody can start enjoying the company of each other when you eat and dine. But now the anecdote is really just buying chocolates in a box and having our kit. We haven't been able to do a large scale edible art event just yet.
Yes.
And you can never really replace that experience. I
Mm.
mean, no matter how hard you try it in a box, like if you have to make your own, it's different. When the size and the magnitude of it is larger than you, that's where it really makes the difference.
And how many people work in this type of exhibitions? How do you organize yourselves or staff, like in a large
Yeah,
exhibition, like, marshmallows or lollipops?
yeah, yeah. Not to. I mean, we integrate all our talent into this, so they take
Mhm.
turns to do this. So we don't have a dedicated team just for this, because I always feel everyone should be exposed to this. You know, it's something new, it's different, and it's super fun. Yeah.
And so I have a question, like how your exhibitions finish? Like, are they destroyed or are they intact after the showing?
Well, both. The wall art always stays, so the painting always stays. But then, you know, with the bonbons, people are always thinking it's always empty. It could be even thousands of people coming, and they
Mhm.
take it off the wall, and it's truly amazing. For World 50 Best event, I think we had about 600 people. I can't remember how many people. We gave maybe about 2,500 bonbons, and people really ate that much. I mean, it was truly amazing. The sheer number of confectionaries that we put on the wall, but usually it's always destroyed. Yeah.
And so what for kind of to finish, or like what is the advice, or just some advice to our students who are just finishing their master now in pastry, like what is the advice that you give them?
Well, it's very important to think different. I always think again on actually what is your story, what you like to do, and tell your story. I mean, for those who want to open their own shop, for those who want to open their own business, of course, that is something you need to consider, who you are, and can your idea take you more than 10 years? Yeah, so that's kind of where you're at. Yeah.
It's patience and passion as well.
Yes, for sure. Passion.
So if you like to add anything onto this interview, or just kind of give another advice to the students.
Yeah, I think it's been really nice always to connect with Basque Culinary Center. I don't know how we managed to connect, but I guess it's through the love of food that we all connect together. And the main thing is always to have an open mind, wherever you do, whatever you do, to be really, really open-minded and to listen a lot. That's something that's very important. And I've learned it as well to listen to the customers. Sometimes they have a lot of things that are right, and it will
Mhm.
also help your business when you listen more.
Yeah. So some of our students want kind of to start up their own business as well. Like, do you think at the moment is super difficult to start, or just have to be more like more creative, even to have reclaim, no, in society or customer wise?
Yep, yeah. I think it's not so easy to just start and make sure that it lasts, you know. You always have this idea you want to start, and you can just open it, but the main thing is to build the brand and to make sure that your philosophy stays the same. You can't be changing your philosophy every year, so that's where you need to maintain the consistency.
The consent. Very well, Janice. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm super happy we actually, even you are not in person here, like having your company, and it's such a pleasure. Actually, you have shared your time. We are super thankful for it. And,
That's nice.
I
Thank
think
you.
it's super inspiring to hearing you. And even though you are just on the business for so many years, and I think, and I wish you will be, so you can inspire others as well.
For sure, for sure. I think the same thing. BCN has always been, BCC has always been very inspiring as well. You're really pushing the boundary over there with your students as well, and even organizing such talks as well. They have such a diverse, culinary elective to really listen to all these stories from all over the world.
Yes, it's such it's just like lots of learning here. So hopefully we can still learning from each other.
That's amazing. Well,
Well,
thank
thank
you.
you very much, Anise,
Yeah.
and
Thank you very
it's
much,
been a
everyone.
pleasure.
Okay. See you guys.